Hello, let us continue our discussion of GS Paper 1 2022. The second question is, why did the armies of British East India Company, mostly comprising of Indian soldiers, win consistently against the more numerous and better equipped armies of Indian rulers? Give reasons. Though the question seems to be lengthy, but it is very simple. They are just asking one thing. British were fewer in number. Indians were larger in number. Even then, British always won. Why? Just imagine through a visualization. That is, you are on a helicopter. You are observing a British troop which is moving. Okay, what are the features which gives them some upper hand? Okay, they are having the British army is marching. Okay, to the war zone. You are observing them from the helicopter. What are the features that you see? Okay, they are having a uniform command and control structure. Okay, somebody is guiding them and they are following their orders, which that kind of feature Indians were lacking, because Indians were having multiple commanders. Okay, and then superior strategy and tactics. These people were following a particular tactics. Okay, they are not just carrying arms and moving in some particular way. Their commanders use some superior strategy which they have gained through European war experiences. Then you can see that from the helicopter, you can see that these people are carrying advanced weaponry and armory with them. Then these people were moving in a left fashion. That means they are better trained and disciplined. Then you can see that, okay, majority of the people in the troops are Indians, and when you observe them, they are of Gurkha class. That means they are warrior class and they are mercenaries. They will die for the company which is feeding them. Then you can see that they are moving through better roads, grand trunk roads. That means the movement of army is easy. And if something, this particular supply is exhausted, if army is losing their weapons or food is limited, then they will be feeding them through the supply lines, through the roads, that means like Grand Trunk Road, or through the sea, etc. British were having better navy. You can talk about that point as well. Then you can talk about these things. Okay, till the consistent supply line, till this point we talked about the army features. Now apart from the army, you just imagine what are the things that British did to get an upper hand or to win over the Indian kings. They employed the divide and rule policy. That means they will be taking side of some parties and they will be opposing the other party. So divide and rule policy. Then psychological warfare. After the war, to create fear in the minds of the people, what they will be doing, they will be just executing all the captured prisoners publicly. We saw the kind of terror that they created in Jallianwala Bagh and all. So these kind of things will create terror in the minds of the people. So then, apart from that, obviously, war cannot be done without diplomacy. They will be siding one party and they will be offering the people, okay, if you are supporting us, after the war, we will be giving you maybe title of Raja Bahadur, I will be giving you pension kind of thing. So diplomacy and treaties. So in general, you can talk about these points. So it became easy to visualize, right? Now you just see what all examples that we can use. In the case of unified command structure, British were having unified command structure. Okay, they will be following the command of only one person, and that will be strictly followed. But during the Anglo-Maratha wars, etc., we saw that Indians had multiple chieftains. I mean, each commander has their own armies. This we saw during the case of Anglo-Maratha war. Marathas had many people commanding different armies. So if one group moves to left, other group will be moving to right. So that was an issue. Then superior strategy and tactics. Okay, in the Battle of Plassey, we saw that Robert Clive bribed the traitor called Mir Jafar, and he had made some underground alliances. So British won easily without even fighting. There were very minimal casualties in the side of British. Then these people were having advanced artillery and weaponry, right? Superior weapons. For example, Brown Bess musket. It's a gun which was standardized. Every people were having the same factory made guns, and these are mass produced. Every people were given these kind of weapons. But in India, only maybe the people in the front may be carrying some superior weapons, and the remaining people may be fighting with swords, kind of things, sticks, etc. So that's an issue. Then training and discipline. We saw in the case of the defeat of Tipu Sultan during the siege of Seringapatanam, etc. the people, the trained army of the British were easily storming the fortress of Tipu Sultan and Seringapatam. So they were trained to fight in any condition. If there is a fort, if there is an ocean, if there is a river, they'll be able to like disciplinarily destroy the enemy defense line, etc. Then use of Indian troops, as I told, Gurkha regiments, which are warrior class, they are very famous for their valor and loyalty to the British crown. Okay, so like British won most of the critical campaigns throughout the colonial period through the use of Indian troops like Gurkha regiments, etc. Then infrastructure development, as I already told, there were grand trunk roads like superior roads which spanned large parts of North India. That means in the North Indian plain, anywhere the troop can be deployed quickly, and any logistical support, whether it is like food grains, whether it is like infantry, or whether it is cavalry, or whether it is arms and weapons, anything can be supplied easily. So that is possible through consistent supply lines, okay, through sea, etc. In the case of Anglo-Mysore war, we saw that Mysore is like Karnataka is having a sea coast. So these supply chains were used by the British, these supply lines were used by the British to supply the food, arms, weapons, infantry, cavalry, etc. To defeat the Mysore king, Tipu Sultan. Then psychological warfare. After the 1857 rebellion or Sepoy mutiny, the British executed the rebel leaders publicly. So it created fear among the people who are going to rebel in future. So that terrorized the people's minds. So psychologically they thought that okay, British is invincible. Then diplomacy and treaties. We saw the Treaty of Bassein of 1802, in which the Maratha Sardars and the Maratha Peshwa were fighting among themselves. In that, the British agreed to support this particular Maratha Peshwa, but they got what? They got better territorial rights. Okay, British told that we need this much territory, then we'll support you. So that Peshwa, he was a coward. He instantly supported or agreed for that. So that expanded the British control on most of the Indian areas, and that weakened the Maratha Confederation, which was the last powerful enemy of the British. So we know that, okay, by taking all these examples, we know that British employed military we saw, okay, command and control structure, like superior armory, then like training and discipline. So these kind of points we saw. Okay, then diplomacy, we saw the example of a Treaty of Bassein, etc. Then psychological tactics, okay, publicly executing the people. So these kind of techniques are used. So military, combination of military, diplomacy, psychological traits, infrastructure, better infrastructure building, everything was used to gain an advantage over the Indian rulers. And we know that they had better naval power, they had better ships, they had better commanders. Okay, they had better commanders. Okay, like Robert Clive and all, Wellesley kind of people. So that you can write. And apart from that, you can write about the economic power. They were having very huge resources and money which you can continuously pump into the war field, but Indians were not having that particular thing. And as a part of their divide and rule policy, they easily defeated Indian parties by siding with one party. They exploited the religious divide, regional divide, cultural divide, everything. So that was easy for the British to do. And the Indians were having like that kind of a feeling that British is superior, because the British called themselves like us white man, and the white man culture are supreme. So that kind of an inferiority complex were also present in the minds of Indians. So that also backfired the Indian troops. So these are the reasons why the British were, even though they are fewer in number, they easily conquered the Indian troops, okay, which were otherwise larger in number. So I hope you are able to visualize the things. We'll meet in the next question discussion. Thank you.